An Aboleth is a legendary monster. And an Aboleth is a large aberration and is lawful evil. They have a natural armor class of 17 and they have 18 D10 plus 36 hit points. They have a 10 feet speed on land and a swimming speed of 40 feet. Their strength is 21 with a +5 modifier. Their dexterity is a 9 with a -1 modifier. Their constitution is a 15 with a +2 modifier. Their intelligence is 18 with a +4 modifier. They have a wisdom of 15 with a +2 modifier, and lastly their charisma is 18 with a +4 modifier. The legendary Aboleth saving throws are constitution +6, intelligence +8, wisdom +6. Their skills are a +10 to perception and a +12 to history. The Aboleth does not die with age, and if their body is destroyed, their spirit returns to the water plane where they can get a new body, but they must find their own way back to the material plane. It also has dark vision up to 120 feet as well as a passive perception of 20. The Aboleth can speak deep speech. If you cannot speak deep speech, it will communicate with you via telepathy, which it has a range of up to 120 feet. However, they are only interested in communicating with those they can subjugate, and if you communicate with them telepathically and they can see you, then they discover your deepest desire and will use it to attempt to gain control over you. The Aboleth is amphibious, which means it can breathe air and water. They also have something called mucus cloud, which states, while underwater, the Aboleth is surrounded by transformative mucus. A creature that touches the Aboleth or that hits it with a melee attack while within 5 feet of it must make a DC 14 Constitution saving throw. On a failure, the creature is diseased for 1d4 hours. The diseased creature can breathe only underwater. Probing telepathy is another feature of the Aboleth, which allows the Aboleth to learn the greatest desires of a creature if it communicates with it telepathically and if they can see them. The Aboleth gets to make 3 tentacle attacks, which are considered a melee weapon attack with a +9 to hit with a 10 feet reach, which does to d6 +5 bludgeoning damage. If the target is a creature, it must succeed on a DC 14 Constitution saving throw or become diseased. The disease has no effect for 1 minute and can be removed by any magic that cures disease. After 1 minute, the diseased creature's skin becomes translucent and slimy. The creature can't regain hit points unless it is underwater, and the disease can be removed only by heal or another disease-curing spell of 6th level or higher. When the creature is outside a body of water, it takes 1d12 acid damage every 10 minutes unless moisture is applied to the skin before 10 minutes have passed. If the Aboleth attacks with its tail, which is considered a melee weapon attack with a +9 to hit, a 10 feet reach, it can deal up to 3d6 +5 bludgeoning damage. The Aboleth gets to attempt to enslave 3 creatures per day as well. Now this is what they most likely will attempt to do, enslave 3 a day. The Aboleth targets 1 creature it can see within 30 feet of it. The target must succeed on a DC 14 Wisdom saving throw or be magically charmed by the Aboleth until the Aboleth dies or until it is on a different plane of existence from the target. The charmed target is under the Aboleth's control and can't take reactions, and the Aboleth and the target can communicate telepathically with each other over any distance. Whenever the charmed target takes damage, the target can repeat the saving throw. On a success, the effect ends, no more than once every 24 hours. The target can also repeat the saving throw when it is at least 1 mile away from the Aboleth. Since the Aboleth is a legendary monster, it also gets legendary actions. The Aboleth can take 3 legendary actions, choosing from the options below. Only 1 legendary action option can be used at a time and only at the end of another creature's turn. The Aboleth regains spent legendary actions at the start of its turn. Detect. The Aboleth makes a wisdom perception check. Tail swipe. The Aboleth makes 1 tail attack. Psychic drain costs 2 actions. 1 creature charmed by the Aboleth takes 3d6 psychic damage, and the Aboleth regains hit points equal to the damage the creature takes. The Aboleth additionally gets lair actions since it is a legendary monster. The Aboleth casts Phantasmal Force, no components required, on any number of creatures it can see within 60 feet of it. While maintaining concentration on this effect, the Aboleth can't take other lair actions. If a target succeeds on the saving throw or if the effect ends for it, the target is immune to the Aboleth's Phantasmal Force lair action for the next 24 hours, although such a creature can choose to be affected. Pools of water within 90 feet of the Aboleth surge outward in a grasping tide. Any creature on the ground within 20 feet of such a pool must succeed on a DC 14 strength saving throw or be pulled up to 20 feet into the water and knocked prone. The Aboleth can't use this lair action again until it has used a different one. Water in the Aboleth's lair magically becomes a conduit for the creature's rage. The Aboleth can target any number of creatures it can see in such water within 90 feet of it. The target must succeed on a DC 14 Wisdom saving throw or take to D6 psychic damage. The Aboleth can't use this lair action again until it has used a different one. The region containing an Aboleth's lair is warped by the creature's presence, which creates one or more of the following effects. Underground surfaces within 1 mile of the Aboleth's lair are slimy and wet and are difficult terrain. Water sources within 1 mile of the lair are supernaturally foul. Enemies of the Aboleth that drink such water vomited within minutes. As an action, the Aboleth can create an illusory image of itself within 1 mile of the lair. The copy can appear in any location the Aboleth has seen before or in any location a creature charmed by the Aboleth can currently see. Once created, the image lasts for as long as the Aboleth maintains concentration, as if concentrating on a spell. Although the image is intangible, it looks, sounds, and can move like the Aboleth. The Aboleth can sense, speak, and use telepathy from the image's position as if present at that position. If the image takes any damage, it disappears. If the Aboleth dies, the first 2 effects fade over the course of 3d10 days. Aboleths overall are pretty powerful, but with a challenge rating of 10 a medium high-level party should be able to defeat it. That being said, don't underestimate them. If the Aboleth can enslave 1 or 2 of the party members, then even a high-level party can find itself in an extremely tricky situation. The Aboleth will attempt to split the party with its many abilities so that you either have to fight each other or you become distracted, take enough damage and are forced to flee. An Aboleth's top priority in combat is anyone with resistance, advantage to being charmed as this affects their ability to enslave enemies. They will also target anyone who is capable of doing area effect damage that requires dexterity saves, as well as anyone who has magical items that can seriously threaten it. It will also go after heavy hitters, those characters who can dish out major damage in 1 round, think 40+ damage. Remember that there is usually an opportunity to communicate with the Aboleth before battle ensues. It will know exactly what you want, and being an ancient entity will probably find your desires to be silly or irrelevant and is only interested in how it can use you and your party to further their ends. Approach with caution and be ready for a fight.